Macbeth, top 50 quotes. The play begins with the witches' foreboding spell. They discuss their plan to meet Macbeth, then chant, "Fair is foul, and foul is fair." Moving to Forres, King Duncan receives a report of a battle where brave Macbeth has fought furiously to defend his country. The sergeant describes Macbeth disdaining fortune with his brandished steel, which smoked with bloody execution. Duncan also finds out he was betrayed by a high-ranking nobleman, the Thane of Cawdor. He orders that he be executed and awards his title to Macbeth with, "What he hath lost, noble Macbeth hath won." The Weird Sisters appear to Macbeth and Banquo and pronounce, "All hail Macbeth, that shalt be king hereafter." Banquo then interrupts, asking the witches to "Speak then to me," and they tell him, "Thou shalt get kings, though thou be none," meaning his sons will become kings, but he will not. The witches disappear, and Banquo warns Macbeth. But 'tis strange, and oftentimes to win us to our harm, the instruments of darkness tell us truths. Macbeth and Banquo arrive at Forres, and Duncan praises Macbeth's loyalty with, "I have begun to plant thee, and will labour to make thee full of growing," before announcing his son Malcolm will be next in line to the throne. Macbeth steps aside in frustration and states, "Stars, hide your fires. Let not light see my black and deep desires," hinting at his treasonous thoughts. Macbeth writes to Lady Macbeth in Inverness, sharing the news of the witches and his promotion. Lady Macbeth reasons that Macbeth is too full of the milk of human kindness. She then calls on the powers of darkness to come and unsex me here, and fill me from the crown to the toe, top full of direst cruelty. Macbeth arrives at Inverness, and Lady Macbeth urges him to look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent under it. Duncan and the other Thanes also arrive at the castle, with Duncan pronouncing, "This castle hath a pleasant seat," before Lady Macbeth welcomes them in. Later, Macbeth anxiously reasons that his plan to murder Duncan is overambitious, with, "I have no spur to prick the sides of my intent, but only vaulting ambition." But Lady Macbeth enters and furiously mocks his lack of resolve, claiming, "When thou durst do it, then you were a man." Macbeth agrees to kill Duncan. That evening, alone, Macbeth sees a vision of a floating dagger and questions, "Is this a dagger which I see before me? The handle toward my hand?" It seems to lead him in the direction of Duncan's bedchamber, and Macbeth exits to kill the king. Soon after, Lady Macbeth enters, and her confidence is knocked by a sound. "Hark! Peace!" It was the owl that shrieked. Macbeth returns from the murder, holding the bloody daggers, and Lady Macbeth states, "Infirm of purpose, give me the daggers," since Macbeth refuses to return to smear the servants with the king's blood. As she exits, Macbeth laments, "Will all great Neptune's ocean wash this blood clean from my hand?" A knocking at the gate wakes the drunken porter, who stumbles on stage, imagining, "If a man were porter of Hellgate, he should have old turning the key." He opens the door to Macduff and Lennox. Soon after, Macduff goes to wake Duncan and returns exclaiming the king's death in "Horror, horror, horror." Macbeth skillfully reveals he has murdered the servants after seeing Duncan with his silver skin laced with his golden blood. The Thanes exit to make a plan, and Donalbain tells Malcolm, "There's daggers in men's smiles. The near in blood, the nearer bloody." They both agree to flee Scotland separately. After Macbeth is crowned king, Banquo appears on stage and comments on the Weird Sisters' prophecy, that myself should be the root and father of many kings. Seemingly tempted by the prospect, Macbeth arrives and asks him if he will attend his banquet in the evening. Banquo agrees, stating he will return after going riding with his son, Fleance. After Banquo exits, Macbeth is indignant about the witch's prophecy for Banquo, stating, "Upon my head they placed a fruitless crown and put a barren sceptre in my grip." He meets with two murderers, whom he convinces to murder Banquo and Fleance. Next, Lady Macbeth enters, seeming dissatisfied in "Naught's had, all's spent, where our desire is got without content." As Macbeth arrives, they discuss their security on the throne, with Macbeth seemingly paranoid about plots. As Lady Macbeth urges him to leave it, he rages, "Oh, full of scorpions is my mind, dear wife." Outside the castle, the murderers kill Banquo. However, Fleance escapes, with Banquo crying, "Fly, good Fleance! Fly, fly, fly! Thou mayest revenge!" with his last breath. Macbeth hears the news as the banquet commences. He returns to the table, and then sees a vision of Banquo's ghost, and wails before the other guests, "Thou canst not say I did it! Never shake thy gory locks at me!" The ghost exits, and Lady Macbeth attempts to calm Macbeth by asking, "Are you a man?" But as the ghost returns, Macbeth becomes more and more unhinged. Lady Macbeth calls an end to the banquet, and Macbeth decides he will go back to the Weird Sisters, commenting, "I am in blood. Stepped in so far that should I wade no more, returning were as tedious as to go over." Soon after, the witches gather and prepare a spell around their cauldron, chanting, "Double, double, toil and trouble." As Macbeth approaches, one utters, "By the pricking of my thumbs, something wicked this way comes." Macbeth commands them to predict his future, and they conjure 3 apparitions. An armoured head warns Macbeth to beware Macduff. The second, a bloody child, states, "None of woman born shall harm Macbeth." Next, a crowned child holding a tree appears and tells him, "Macbeth shall never be vanquished until great Birnam Wood to high Dunsinane Hill shall come against him." Finally, Macbeth demands to hear about Banquo's prophecy, and he sees a show of 8 kings, followed by Banquo. The witches vanish, and Lennox arrives to inform Macbeth that Macduff has fled Scotland. Macbeth is furious and orders, "Seize upon Fife. Give to the edge of the sword his wife, his babes, and all unfortunate souls that trace him in his line." At Macduff's castle in Fife, Lady Macduff and her son have a tender conversation before the murderers arrive. Before they are killed, she laments, "I am in this earthly world, where to do harm is often laudable, and to do good sometime accounted dangerous folly." In England, Macduff meets with Malcolm, and the pair discuss the state of their country, with Malcolm, who says of Scotland, "It weeps, it bleeds, and each new day a gash is added to her wounds." He decides to test Macduff's loyalty by pretending to have poor character, in lines such as, "I should pour the sweet milk of concord into hell." Macduff passes the test by crying out his love for Scotland. Ross then enters and informs Macduff that his family have been murdered. Macduff is distraught, questioning, "What, all my pretty chickens and their dam at one fell swoop?" Malcolm assures him revenge will cure his loss, and they agree to invade Scotland with help from the English Lord Syward. Back at Dunsinane, Lady Macbeth is observed sleepwalking, holding a candle and attempting to clean a spot of blood off her hand in "Out, damned spot! Out, I say!" Elsewhere in the castle, Macbeth is told of the forces massing against him, and of Lady Macbeth's illness, which he asks they cure her of that. "Canst thou not minister to a mind diseased?" Outside the castle, by Birnam Wood, Malcolm orders the soldiers to "let every soldier hew him down a bough and bear it before him." While inside, Macbeth is told that Lady Macbeth is dead. He utters a desperate soliloquy, decrying that life's but a walking shadow, as they prepare for battle. The assault on the castle begins, and Macbeth slays the young son of Syward in combat, claiming hope in the witch's prophecies in "But swords I smile at, weapons laugh to scorn, brandished by man that's of a woman born." But soon Macduff enters and reveals he was from his mother's womb untimely ripped. Despite this, Macbeth refuses to yield and returns. "Before my body, I throw my warlike shield." They fight, and Macduff kills Macbeth. Malcolm enters the castle with the other thanes and soldiers, and Macduff presents him with the head of Macbeth. Malcolm pronounces Scotland is free, and tells his thanes and kinsmen, "Henceforth be earls, the first that ever Scotland in such an honour named." He labels Macbeth and Lady Macbeth as a dead butcher and his fiend-like queen, before exiting to be crowned at Scone.